Okay, are we sure that title isn't misspelled? My spell check isn't pinging it, so I guess, yeah. License to Kill with two C's. This film is considered by many to be the dark horse of all the James Bond films, and this film is not ashamed of that title. This film is about as hardcore as it gets, and that's saying something. No volcano layers or space stations here, just a brutal drug lord, torture, and good old-fashioned revenge. You would think that this would be a step too far, but you'd be surprised to find out that many of the more vicious elements in this film are actually taken from the books. Most famously, Felix Leiter getting fed to the shark. That scene actually happened in the novel of Live and Let Die, all the way down to the mocking, blood-splattered note. Even more appropriate, it's that it's David Hedison who reprises Felix in this film after playing Felix in Live and Let Die. So, if there's anything cynics are gonna say against this film, at least they can't justifiably say that it's contradictory to the spirit of Fleming. That being said, does this film go a little too far? On a filmmaking level, probably. In the aforementioned shark feeding scene, after Felix's leg is bitten off, the editor felt that a off-screen chomp combined with Felix's wails of agony wasn't enough. No, we gotta show the bloody stump in the water. That ought to hit the point home. There's another scene where one of the henchmen gets thrown into a pressure chamber. When I saw this film on TV, it was edited, and after you see the guy's head expand, it cuts away right when you hear the explosion. Home video? Nope. Gotta see them brains splayed all over the glass. Stuff like this leads one to conclude that there may have been fleeting worries that Bond was becoming too tame, and this was overcompensating. See, here's the thing. Bond films have always been violent, it's just a matter of presentation. As any great PG-13 horror film proves, and yes, those do exist, is that many times what's implied is considerably more effective. And yet, this is really a minor gripe, because really, License to Kill is excellent. It boasts some incredible action sequences, starting with the mid-air capture scene, the water skiing escape sequence, and the final tanker chase, complete with a big rig going entirely on its left set of wheels, which was actually done on location. Another point of praise that this film deserves is that when it comes to revenge stories, this is one of the best plotted revenge movies I've ever seen, particularly because this film actually has Bond utilizing his skills as a spy to infiltrate an enemy's organization. Even with all the great action, the most intense scenes are the ones where Bond has to use his cunning to gain a villain's trust and ultimately sow seeds of doubt, which are tantamount to the villain's organization crashing down around him. And all Bond had to do was say the right words, and Dalton delivers them with a level head and a cold temperament. It is sad that Dalton never got a lengthy run in the role, but watching him in this one, it really makes one lament what missed opportunities that we could have had. While we're on the subject of the villain, Franz Sanchez is easily one of the best villains in all the Bond films, no contest, top 10, easily. A lot of that praise can be attributed to Robert Davi's striking, multifaceted performance. The first time we see him, he orders a man's heart to be ripped out, followed by whipping his girl with a lizard's tail. 10 out of 10 for originality, but 20 million points for being really freaking scary. But when we see him in his domain, he is charming, charismatic, witty, and self-assured. Sanchez is a man who is so overconfident in his reach, he's able to drop a hint of a $2 million bribe to sway a DEA agent to turn. And what's scarier is that this confidence could very well be justified. And what's even more interesting about Sanchez as a character is that his greatest strength winds up being his downfall. This is a man who is fiercely obsessed with loyalty. He stresses that to him, the loyalty of everyone around him is far more important. And once again, because he is so overconfident that he has his men's loyalty, it is so easy for Bond to make him paranoid that everyone is conspiring against him. Then in the end, when his empire is crumbling, you see him come unglued, reckless, and animalistic. This is a villain with layers of menace, and through strong writing and Robert Davi's electric performance, they elevate what could have been just another drug kingpin character. Then there's the supporting characters. Though Lupe is essentially a secondary lady in these proceedings, she's no less engaging as a character. In fact, she has a lot of emotional turmoil between her totally justifiable fear of Sanchez and her desire to be free of him. Talisa Soto balances the conflict with exceptional grace, but then there is Pam Bouvier, played by Carey Lowell. Pam Bouvier will not take your shit, even when she has to. She's the kind of woman who brings a shotgun to a knife fight. She gets shot in the back and marvels about how awesome the Kevlar is that she's wearing. While there have been many strong Bond girls in films before and after this one, there is only one who could still retain the badassery even when she's threatening Wayne Newton. Dalton's time as Bond was undeniably brief, but at least it can be safely stated that he had some incredibly strong material to work with. Granted, the majority of it was in this movie, but it can't be denied. The man made it count.